Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening. How's everyone doing tonight? Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Let me go back up here at the top. Texas Brett, number one. Good evening, PG and chat. Much love to y'all. Much love to you, girl. Much love to you. How you doing, Eve? Says, hey, PG. Hi, chat. Mods and PG. Number two is Eve. Eve says, I'm glad to see you're on tonight. Have missed you. Much love. Much love to you, girl. I miss you guys. Absolutely. I miss you guys. Robin, number three. Hey, PG and chat. Hey, Robin, how you doing tonight? Pet Mom came in, number four. Hello, justice coming for Summer Wells. Amen. Amen. I think it is too. I really do. I really do. I'm hearing some things through the grapevine, so possibility. You might have that right, sweetie. Absolutely. Hello, Lady Q. How are you tonight, sweetie? How are you doing? O says, hello, PG. Hello to you, sweetie. Sugar Boom Boom, how are you doing tonight? Hey, PG and all in chat. Much love. Peace. Much love to you. God bless. Our bucket list has holes. How you doing tonight, hon? Hello, everyone. Welcome. Much love to all. Thank you for joining us. Amen. Amen. How you doing, Beater? Says I'm absolutely great, PG, and you. Doing good, sweetie. Doing good. How you doing, Yoda? Yogi. Says hello. Hey, hello, hello. Hello to you, hon. How you doing, Patty? Save the bees. I'm trying to make it through here. Trying to make it through. How you doing tonight, Ivory? Janet, Trigger. How's everybody doing tonight? Hello, PG and everyone. Much love. Much love to you. Teresa, how you doing? Says, hasn't this woman changed her story numerous times? I'm going to tell you what, she be talking right now, right? She be talking. That's crazy. She was saying some good stuff now. She's saying some good stuff. How you doing, Laura? Yeah, she was, you know, the whales don't want to talk about that timeline, right? They don't want to talk about that timeline. Boy, but JodiSue did. Right? I mean, she said she heard that scream around 4:30, 4:42, 4:47, somewhere in there. Somewhere between, I heard once 4:42, 4:47. And then she said around maybe 4:30. But who cares? It was somewhere between. Point being is, it was between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, right? Somewhere, not even to 5 o'clock. More like, it was still going to be like 10 minutes before 5 o'clock. But I mean, and people say, well, what's it matter? Well, in something like this, every second counts, right? Every second. Law enforcement knows that. You'd be surprised how much someone can get done in 5 minutes when they're in a rush to get it done. And I think all of us are, all of us know how much can be done in a matter of a few minutes, right? Ring the doorbell. Oh my gosh. I mean, you fly around that house like a yellow peril, picking up, straighten up, and I mean, You done picked up everything, straightened up everything, and done even, looked at yourself in the mirror, straightened your clothes up, and walked to the door, right? And it's like they just barely rung that bell. You might be a little out of breath, but by God, you got it done. So we all understand how that every second counts, when you need to get something done. So that's what law enforcement is, looking at right now, right? That every second. So anyway, right. But you take 447. Jody said 430 to 447. We'll hit it on the 50 mark. That's still 10 minutes. 10 minutes before 5 o'clock, right? That's an extra 10 minutes. So that is actually, 1 hour. 1 hour and 40 minutes before law enforcement was called. From the time of the scream, 1 hour and 40 minutes. That's a long time before law enforcement's called, right? That extra 10 minutes with them tires hitting the road. I mean, if you're going 60 miles an hour, you're going a mile. You are making a mile a minute. That's 10 miles in 10 minutes. That's, that's a lot of ground covered in 10 minutes if you're doing 60. So and I think Candus was doing 90 that day. Right? I think she was doing 90 if you ask me. So, she was almost doubling that time. So from 4:50, you've only got 10 minutes left till 5 o'clock. Then you take from 5 to 6:30. You have to add that extra 10 minutes onto the 30, which would be 40 minutes. It would be 1 hour and 40 minutes is what is actually 1 hour and 43 minutes. Because she said at 4:47, it's like the latest she heard the scream. So that's, but when she heard the scream, we're going to give them 3 minutes to calm it down, right? We're going to give them 3 minutes to get the scream under control and start doing what they need to get done. So we're going to stop it at 4:50 right there. And that's giving them some time to get the scream under control. So by 4:50, things had started moving, is what I'm thinking. So that's an hour, 40 minutes, to make a plan, Sam, right? And for Candus, it was getting the truck, Gus. You don't want to be too slow, Joe. Right? Candus was up there moving 90. She was moving that ass 90. She don't want to talk about that timeline. Oh, yeah. Yeah. She, she definitely over there up the, got her head stuck up the cow's backside, but hey, that is what it is, right? That is what it is. I personally think that Miss Daisy messed up, right? I think she messed up. You know, she can holler, you know, she can holler whatever she wants to holler. But, you know, she knows the truth. She turned on Summer. She turned on Summer for the almighty dollar, you know, thinking that the Wells was going to get her to click likes and views. And hey, you know, there went all respect down the fucking toilet. All that respect went down the toilet, right? Miss Daisy once had all people's respect and everything, acting like she's all for the victims. Now we know that ain't true. She's all for the, you know, it's all for the Benjamins. So, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. She's got to live with herself, not me. Right? She's got to answer to God, not me. So, I could care less. Care less. You know, she turned on Summer. And that, you know, that pissed me off, and I won't stand for that. Absolutely not. You know, we busted our asses on this channel. We have busted our asses over here, pulling Summer into the spotlight because of people like Daisy. We busted our asses over here, getting the spotlight on, finally on the Wells, right? Where it needed to always be, because they weren't cooperating with law enforcement. They were playing games and doing all their bullshit. Constantly trying to take the focus off themselves and onto anyone else they could to get it off of them. And, you know, and we busted our ass, you know, getting to where we're at right now. And we will keep busting our asses. We will keep busting our asses until Summer is found, brought home, and justice is served, right? That's what we do. And Daisy can sit over there and do whatever the hell she wants to do from now on, because we all seen the true Daisy. We all seen, you know, what she's really for. And it ain't these missing kids, and I'm sad about that. I'm sad, but it is what it is. You know, I am one of those people that I have to face the truth. I have to face the truth and what type of people I'm dealing with out here and how they really are. And, you know, whether I want to support them or not. And I don't support that. I don't support that. True crime is supposed to be about the victims. We're supposed to be the voice. We're supposed to be the voice for these missing children. We're the ones that are supposed to, you know, love, respect. We're the ones supposed to be having mercy for the ones that don't have a voice. They can't be here to tell what happened. We are their voice. And Daisy can sit over there and say, well, you know, I don't think Summer would want justice against her parents and hate against her parents, even if they did do something. Well, I'm going to tell you what. That's probably true. Because Summer's a child. And even the Bible says, you know, we ain't going to get into heaven unless we have the mind of a child as well, right? And a lot of us do. A lot of us, you know, have that unconditional love for people who abuse us, right? We all have that. Even some adults have unconditional love for people who abuse them. You know, some adults, even now, some adults have parents that still say ugly things and stuff to them, that don't treat them right. But they put up with it. Why? Because they love their parents and are trying to hold it together. Right? And a lot of adults out here have children that don't respect them. You know, but they put up with that disrespect because they love their children. They're trying to hold it together, right? It's what people do. And a child don't have a choice to drop people or not drop people. And a child also blames themselves, and a lot of adults do too. Like a lot of adults have, kids that are cruel to them, and they think, well, it's because of the way I making excuses. Maybe it's because of the way I raised them. I gave them too much, or I did this, or I did that. No, you're blaming yourself like a child would. You're blaming yourself because these people that are abusing you, you don't understand that, you love them, but they don't love you. They use you. They don't love you, they use you. That's why they're able to abuse you. You couldn't abuse them because you truly love them. And a child don't abuse the parents or anything because a child really loves the parents. It's just a lot of parents don't love their children. In Summer, she didn't have a choice. And I'm sure, in Summer, being a child, didn't understand that you don't get justice to hurt someone. You get justice so that someone don't hurt no one else, right? A child don't understand why we get justice. So, I think Daisy should think past the end of her nose before she goes making, stupid comments like that. I really do. I mean, don't turn the table. Don't try to use a child to turn the table for you kissing the parents' asses, the main suspects, right? Don't do that. It's so freaking wrong. It's absolutely wrong. As you can tell, I'm losing my voice. But it is what it is. We all saw the truth. We all seen it. It's out there now. Big writing on the wall. We know where her priorities lay, right? With Benjamin. Not with the victims. Not with the victims like she claimed. So, it is what it is. Oh, Lisa, I appreciate that, hon. I appreciate that. But yeah, and I can't support that. I can't support, I can't support anybody that don't support Summer. I can't support anyone that doesn't support the victim. I don't care who that victim is. We need to support the victims in missing cases. Let it be the missing cases of children or adults, teens, it don't matter. We need to support the victim. The victim's the one that needs us, and we're out here because our hearts go out to what? The victims. The victims are the ones that has captured our, our body, minds, and souls, right? They're the ones that we care about. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. And if you don't, you shouldn't be here. This ain't about the almighty dollar. Right? This is about righteousness. This is about doing something, this is about joining hands together and really coming together for the person that needs us the most. And we know that. That's why we're out here joining hands. Because we know that the victims need us. They need us to push their pictures out there in order to be found. They need us to, to rouse up and keep law enforcement working diligently on their cases. They need us to open our eyes and ears and listen to everything so we can help. Maybe that one thing we didn't think was important will be the thing that brings them home and gets justice for them. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Not turning on them. Not turning on them. We ain't supposed to be doing that. That's wrong. I can't even learn more about Summer's case because of all the drama. Well, Sun King, you know, it is what it is out here, right, hon? It is what it is out here. You know, and I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you because, you know, this channel over here isn't only fighting to do all we can for Summer, right? Keeping her in the spotlight, getting the focus on the number one suspects, calling out all their bullshit, doing all we can for this little girl. But, you know, we ain't only fighting for all of that, but we're fighting also, you know, against people that's turning against her, right? We're fighting against that as well. And, you know, you say, well, why do you fight somebody that's turning against her? Why don't you just let them go and do what they're going to do? Well, see, what you don't understand is when someone's turning against Summer, like Daisy was doing, now she's staring people, you know, back into the dark. Now she's trying to put Summer into the dark and the Wells into the light. And now the Wells want to start, you know, the same bullshit they did before. Put Summer in the dark and start, you know, throwing a bunch of bullshit under the bus and running you around the tree again. Why? So they can get more supporters, a bunch more money off their daughter's back. And they'll do that as long as you know, as long as we out here allow it. Well, we're not going to allow it no more. We're not allowing this no more. We're going to keep the focus right where the focus needs to be. You know, we don't want to hear the Wells talking about, you know, Johnny down the street or Tom, Dick, and Harry. We don't want to hear about that. We don't want to hear about, Candus is still getting rid of Summer's toys. I couldn't do that. I couldn't throw away anything of my child. Well, you know, that's true. As early on as she did it, hell no. Hell no. I fully agree with that, right? I fully agree with that. I mean, at some point you got to let go. You know, you got to, at some point, you know, you got to, because you got, like Candus and Donald, you know, they have 3 other children. They have 3 other children that needed them as well, right? And I can understand, you know, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, still trying to keep the focus on, you know, living and breathing this one thing and not, you know, and not understanding that the boys are there needing you to be there for them. But I mean, they was doing that early on, right? I mean, Summer wasn't gone a few weeks and they're already giving stuff away, already, you know, making a photo album. I knew when they made that photo album, within a couple of weeks, they were trying to do away with Summer right then and there. you know, trying to trap her in a book. I called it. I called it, you know, immediately. And no parents give up hope that quick. If you didn't do anything and you really don't know where your child's at, oh God, you're going to hang on to that hope for a while, right? Like a long time. And you're going to be out here on every channel trying to support your daughter. And you ain't going to give a damn to talk about that timeline, step by step, what went on that day. Because you know that's crucial in finding your child. Now, if you don't want to talk about it, then obviously you're thinking that that timeline's saving your ass. The only thing keeping you from being in prison. And of course, you're not going to talk about it. You know, but law enforcement ain't stupid. They're just actually more highly intelligent than, you know, the normal humans out here, right? So they absolutely know what's going on there. No doubt in their mind. I don't think Candus was ever a good person. I think Candus portrayed to be a good person because she knew portraying to be a good person sucks people in so she could use them up and spit them out, right? I mean, it is what it is. Pet Mom, I appreciate the super sticker. God bless. God bless. I appreciate you supporting Summer's channel. But yeah, you know, in my book, a good person is, you know, throwing out that worthless husband if he was abusive, her first husband, throwing him the hell out, right? Throw that bum to the curb, get a restraining order against him, kick him to the curb, get a fucking job, and raise your own children, right? Raise your own children. She had 2 fine, healthy babies, a little girl and a little boy, who loved her and needed her. But instead of, you know, kicking that bum to the curb if he was, you know, indeed a bad apple, and doing what she had to do to take care of her babies and raise her babies, that's a good person. That is a good person. But what Candus did, that isn't a good person. You know, one of her children will not live a normal life for the rest of their lives. No, Oreo, I did not see her. Why did Don and Candus throw that wall off the hill? The same reason they throw everybody off the hill, because she was no longer a plus. She became a minus. That's why she got booted off the hill, right? And that, you know, that's not my words. That's Dom Wells' words, right? If they don't prove to be a plus to the Wells, meaning that if they ain't bringing money, gift cards, something to the table, then they get the fuck out of there. They ain't going to put up with some bunch of nosy bastards sitting around trying to get information for nothing. And they ain't giving you no information anyway. Nothing you could use to prosecute them. You're dealing with some real criminal criminal-minded fucking humans, right? When you mess with the Wells. Those ain't good people. Those are evil human beings. You know, this is a lady, like I said, you know, she destroyed her first family, got a son that won't ever live a normal life. She gets with Donald. And how did she get with Donald? By taking him away from his wife. His wife lets her move in, give her a place to stay. And she, you know, she starts messing around with the woman's husband. Right? And that's how they ended up together. And they have these kids, right? They have these 4 kids, and 3 of them's in social services now, and 1 gone. Missing, right? Or as Candus says, just gone. And they're what? Are they passing out flyers? Can you guys answer that for me? Put a yes or a no in the chat. Was they passing out flyers? Were they going everywhere and passing out flyers? Trying to get their daughter's face and information in every mailbox and window sill and hand and door that they could? Please answer that for me. Was they doing that? Vicky wants to say yes, but the answer is no. The answer is no, Vicky, because I was there. Where was you? Where was you? You weren't there. You was not there. No, they didn't. The word is no. Did they want the billboard? Did they want the billboard that was going up? Did they want them billboards going up? Or did they want the money? My memory serves me. Well, I ain't going to say how my memory serves me, but you guys know the answer to that. You tell me. Did they want the billboards up? No. Exactly. Exactly. No. Was they not trying to shut down her reward fund? Long before it was shut down? Was Benny Keys not coming out and saying that they wanted Summer's reward fund shut down? Was they not trying to get it shut down? Yes, they were. Yes, they was. Having that money posted up for her scared them. They were afraid if anyone did see something, it would be an incentive to tell on them. Maybe an incentive for them to turn on each other for. Right? If they had time to think about it long enough. They didn't want that reward fund. It was a threat to them. It was a threat to them. They didn't want none of this stuff. These are not good people at all. I don't care, you know. It's you know, truth. What we're saying is the truth. And the truth is the only thing that's going to find this baby. The truth is the only thing that's going to bring her home. And the truth is the only thing that's going to get her justice. Right? That's why I need the truth. I want the truth and I love the truth. The truth ain't easy to face. Right? Truth hurts, man. Somebody's telling the truth about you, especially about something like this. You know, you ain't going to like it. You ain't going to like it. And the reason that you're not going to like it is because you're afraid of it, right? You're like, what the fuck? You know, this shit's gonna get me landed in prison. This person knows the truth, and so many other people know the truth, then law enforcement must know the truth as well. And it's just a matter of time. You know, makes them paranoid, right? Makes them paranoid. Of course, it's going to make them paranoid. Just like Candus is paranoid as hell over that timeline. Her and Donald feel like they have to protect it by not talking about it in order to save their asses, right? Well, if they didn't do anything, why would their asses need to be saved? So that is what it is. You know, this ain't about PG. This is about Summer Moon Utah Wells, right? It ain't about me. It's about Summer. Everybody wants to make something about anything but Summer. Why can't we focus on her? Why can't we focus on the main suspects, Don and Candus Wells? Why can't we open our eyes and ears and face the damn truth in this whole matter? Why can't we do that? Are we afraid that we won't have nothing else to talk about if we settle this case? Are we afraid we ain't gonna, have a reason to meet up no more if we settle this case? Well, that isn't the case. That isn't the case. There is lots of children out there needing our help. Not just Summer, but many. There's tons of missing children. There's tons of mothers that would love to have their child right now in this spotlight to help them bring their child home, to find out what happened to it. Truly what happened. We will always be able to meet up here. We will always be able to meet up here. We will always have something to talk about because evil don't give evil a rest. Evil is doing evil all the time. I wish it wasn't, and I wish we could meet up here with nothing to talk about. That would be a good day. That would be a good day. But I'm afraid it won't ever be like that. Because we live in a real world where evil exists and it doing 90 every second of every day. There is missing people and children everywhere. We will not have a problem finding another child to put in the spotlight. But we need to get Summer found first, right? We need to get Summer found. This is the case that needs to be solved. This is a case that, no one's going to be able to rest until it is. We need closure on this case. Why do we need closure on this case so bad? Why? I'll tell you why. Because Summer needs to be put to rest. She will not rest until she is found. That's the biggest fear when someone is done like this. The biggest fear of a missing person is that no one's going to know what happened to them, that they're not ever going to be found. That is their biggest fear, is wanting everyone to know their story. Please find me. I need my story told. I need to be laid to rest so that everyone else could be at rest as well. This is why we need closure. It's not for us, it's for Summer. She's the one that is driving all of us to needing the closure, because she needs it more so than all of us. Her spirit will not rest until she is found and put to rest. And we won't have peace until she does. It just is what it is. Amen. Exactly. The Wells do not want anyone questioning their timeline, because they know, it is full of shit at best. That's what it is. And it would be very easy to unravel. That's true. The vehicle Don drove that day, Summer was claimed to be missing, has OnStar in it. The police knew Candus left twice. Police lie. Tower pings. Don't these people days of freedom is limited? Yeah, their days of freedom is limited. And it wasn't because her phone pinged. It's because a neighbor's trail cam down the road caught her ass. That's how they know she came out twice. That the trail cam caught her. That's how they knew. And she still denied it. Right? She still told them, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. If you ain't going to arrest me, I want to fucking leave. So I'm going to let you see. Well, yeah, there is a lot of speculation. In this case, speculation is everybody and anybody but the Wells. That's speculation. Facts is law enforcement themselves done said, the Wells are not cooperating. There is no signs of an abduction at all, right? I'm going to let you hear tonight law enforcement saying if she was in the woods, they would have found her. That's why they did the other search. Fact is, law enforcement, number one suspects are Don and Candus Wells. And, a lot of people are saying Oh, they said that the wells passed the lie detector test. Well, let me tell you something. I'd like to know where that was said because, I haven't seen it anywhere. I heard Donald say they did. I've heard the wells say they did. I've heard other people try to blow smoke up my ass and say they did. But no. From what I understand, when I call law enforcement, you know what they tell me? Donald Candus Wells is not cleared. They are not cleared. Everyone's still a suspect, including Don and Candace Wells. So, and Grandma too. You don't think that's true? Call fucking TBI. Call Hawkins County. Call them. They'll tell you. No one's been cleared. People saying they have is lying. No one's been cleared. That's bullshit. Just because someone says it, don't make it truth. That's bullshit. So, it is what it is. But I'm going to play JodiSue for you.
Here's the thing, right? If there are no other calls to law enforcement that exist at 5:30 or before, yep, there's an issue, right?
She said if there is no phone calls to law enforcement, before 5:30, oh, that's an issue. Right? That is an issue. An absolute issue. That's what she said. Give me a second. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back. Don't know. Yeah, that's true, Sun King. You don't want to know. But she says if no phone call was made to police around or before 5:30, that's an issue, right? Okay. Well, JodiSue, I'm going to let you hear for yourself because no, there was no phone calls to police before 6:30. Here it is.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Leslie Earhart, a Public Information Officer for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Before we get started, I want to stress that the investigation into the disappearance of Summer Wells is very much active and ongoing. Please understand, in order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we simply can't speak to specifics. We appreciate you being here today and your continuing coverage of this case. At approximately 6:30 p.m. on this day, 1 year ago, Summer Wells, who was 5 years old at the time, was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County. When we held the first media briefing on June 16th, honestly, we expected to have good news to report by the time the next media briefing came around. Unfortunately, instead, day after day ended in frustration and disappointment. At that time, no one expected that we would still be searching for Summer 1 year later.
There you go. There you go. Did not come in till 6:30. 6:30, folks. Didn't come in at no 5:30 or before or even close. It came in, boom, an hour later, right? An hour later. So, we heard that with our own ears. So let's finish up with JodiSue, right?
Now, whether there are hearings in here or not, there are things that have made me feel like there's a possibility that others exist. But when I first see Candus on June 15th, right, after 6:09, she says she's then calling law. Like, that's when law, she's making calls or whatever, And then they say that 6:20 something is when the first calls.
No, they come in at 6:20.
But, and it goes back into some things,
6:09. 6:09. Candus was talking with Dom Wells. Now, JodiSue did tap onto something. I got to say, she did tap onto something. She said that Candus came down through there real loud, talking to Donald. She thought there was another person in the vehicle, right? That's how loud Candus was talking. Candus, I think Candus knew JodiSue was down there now, had caught sight of her, and came flying down through there, wanting to use JodiSue for possibly an alibi. That's true. I think it's possible Candus and Donald was sitting JodiSue up, and like JodiSue said, they hadn't even really searched everywhere yet, right? They hadn't really searched everywhere yet. They only had the boy. They just started to search. She just got there. I mean, as soon as she heard the boys hollering Summer's name, she got into it. So they couldn't have been looking for Summer more than, a few minutes when JodiSue came to get into the mix of everything. And the neighbor was, the neighbor had just barely came out. The boys had just started hollering and heading down to the creek, right? And JodiSue immediately, got into it as well. So, okay. And like she said, how would Candus, and right away, Don and Candus is already saying abduction. And like JodiSue said, that wasn't what was on my mind. I mean, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking, wandered off. We need to find her. We're going to find her somewhere. She done boot scoot boogied, right? And we're going to find her somewhere around here. So yeah, I mean, and that would be my thought as well, right? That would be my thought as well. But Don and Candus was done setting it up already at that very second before really looking, setting it up as what they wanted it to be. And I don't think it was either. Right? Let's go ahead and listen to her. She's actually making some sense.
For me, it would make more sense if an actual call went into law enforcement around 5:30. And here's why. Because that day, after 6:09, knowing the general response time, and I've said it even on my first anything publicly, I'm like, I was astounded at the response time, like how quick they got there. But that's also based on where they're located in the county and this other times. So I thought, hell, they took serious, like boom, and they're in there. But knowing they didn't get there till what, close to 7, so it's still possible the calls went at 6:20 something, and they hauled ass and got in there, right? But
they didn't get in there at 7. They got in there more about 7:30. 7:30 is when they actually got in there.
generally speaking, I mean, you're looking at 45 minutes to an hour. So had a call been placed at possibly 5:30, it would make sense for what the usual response time is. For them to have gotten in there at 6:30 or so, right? Even though I thought, shit, they really got in here quick if Candus just now called them after, 6:09. So
Donald, the reason she called Donald at 6:09. She talked to Donald. Donald called law enforcement from his work at 6:30. He was throwing the stuff in his truck and calling law enforcement at 6:30 from work. Now, it takes Don 35 to 45 minutes to get home from work, from where he was working, right? It takes 35 to 45 minutes to get from where he was working to home. That right there, 6:30, add it up for yourself. 7 o'clock, Donald wouldn't even been coming in till after 7 himself, right? And he supposedly came in right after Andy, right? And when Don got there, to his surprise, there was only 2 officers there. And that's because they happened to be in the area and got there before all the rest of law enforcement did. So there was only one vehicle with 2 police officers that actually got there before Donald came through. And the rest of them came in after that, right? The rest of them came in after that, which was around 7:30, a little after. And that's when they also brought in the search dogs, right? That Candus fucked up, and they had to take away and bring in new ones. But by that time, it was getting dark, and they didn't have a lot of light. So, there's a lot to take in consideration right here about what was going down on 110 Ben Hill Road that day when we got a missing child, right? We got a missing child, and it sounds like, it was a complete setup. It sounds like it was a complete setup. And Candus was, doing everything she could. That everyone knows to put your dogs away when law enforcement's coming, when the mailman's coming, when anyone's coming, you put your dogs away, right? You put your dogs away. And Candus knew, and they had a ton of sheds to put the dogs in, to pin them up, while law enforcement's around there. And they didn't. They didn't. They messed up that crime scene. And I think it was purposely done. That's my opinion. I think it was purposely done. Because when I talked with them about the dogs, what happened, they laughed. They thought that was funny. That they messed it up. And why would you laugh? Why would you laugh? Because it was, because you felt that you were smarter than law enforcement. Right? That's why you will laugh.
Right. But if, however, there were no calls until truly 6:20 something, then yeah, that response time was fucking amazing. But also, that's a problem for me. Simply because if calls to Dawn exist at 5:30, she knew Summer was missing at 5:30. But the first calls didn't go into almost 6:30. Yeah, it's a problem. It's real fucking problem. Especially when combined with the fact that especially by the WJHL interview, that Grandis, especially, trying to say the boys, whenever for some reason they had this idea that Summer had already been kidnapped, apparently even prior to coming into contact with me after 6:09. And Grandis never did come in. So how in the hell would they have any, and my idea, I was not first put, oh, she's been kidnapped, because that wasn't my first fucking thought, and I never put that in the pond. Dawn did. But here's Grandis later on WJHL saying they said boys don't search, afraid they'd be taken too. But if you've not searched everything yet, then how in the fuck would you have this idea that Summer had been kidnapped? Fuck is going on? And to know that the event she's speaking of took place while I was a direct source below, and I could hear the boys crashing down the left side and going in, and they hadn't come back yet to say, okay, Grandma, Mom, Summer's not down there. It means the whole place hadn't been searched yet.
There you go. There you go. The boys hadn't even come back to say whether she was anywhere down through there or not. And they already, they're not even waiting for that because they had an agenda, right? They had an agenda. I think JodiSue's right. They had an agenda. And they were carrying it out. They was carrying it out. Right? They were carrying it out. Absolutely.
To even fucking know, right? And then you've got the boys telling me one thing, they tell law enforcement another, all these moving pieces, right? And then you also have Candus on day 2 after Summer vanishes, when Candus never knew the time of the scream. She did not know the time of the scream. But she recorded saying the reason she didn't hear it is because she was already searching for Summer in the basement. Boys, TV up, this there, blah, 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 blah.
Now this scream, let's go back. Because this scream was between 4:30 and 4:47. And she's already looking for Summer, is why she didn't hear the scream. And law enforcement wasn't called till 6:30. No. This ain't working, right? This shows that, this is why the Wells don't want to talk about the timeline. Right? They don't want to talk about the timeline. Because it's all fucked up. right? It's all kinds of fucked up.
Well, all right. So it's her trying to conform, or, I don't know. That piece itself is weird because she didn't know at the time. At that time, she just knew I'd hurt, and the kid. I honestly, at that point, I don't think she knew the kids had heard it either, because I was like, I heard her scream. I'm sorry, I did not. And then when she recorded, she says my neighbor, right? And then later on, Donna Dab said, and what? I know he's not told by us. I think it has to be told by another party about the muffled part and all these other things, and implying to the public like it was muffled the whole way and down the dog track. I don't know. There's too many shaking parts. Yeah, and it makes you wonder. It makes me right? But
And Donald did say that. He did try to say that it was a muffled scream. He did say that it was a muffled scream. I mean, if he wasn't there, how would he know? Right? Because JodiSue at no time said it was a muffled scream. No time did she say that. She said it was a scream that you won't ever forget. But she did not say it was a muffled scream. But Donald did. Remember? Yes, he did.
But if, I don't know, by day 2 or Gilmore missed the screen, whatever, right? Maybe she just thought, because
Hey, Robin, why don't you take your worthless ass the hell on up out of here? You are no better than the Wells. You are no better than the Wells when it came to being a fucking parent. You sit there and tell people it's okay to have a nasty house with bugs and all kinds of other dirty things in it when it absolutely isn't. It absolutely isn't. Why don't you take some of that substance money and buy some fucking, bug spray? Why don't you buy some damn decon? Why don't you freaking take care of your house and make sure it ain't all nasty and crudted up with shit that can actually harm your children? Last time I checked, bugs spread diseases. And definitely mice and shit spread diseases, right? And you say it's okay to have them running across your counters and shit. Get the fuck out of here. We know what kind of mom you was. Get out of this chat. You are not welcomed here. I thought I blocked your nasty ass. Just get the fuck on out of here. You're disgusting. And I think Daisy and Jinkies, didn't want nothing else to do with your nasty backside as well. After talking with, their niece's boyfriend, giving him money and trying to hit on him and get in with him, right? You were trying to get in with their niece. Their niece is laying in a fucking coma. And you're trying to hit on her old man. What a sick fucking bitch you are. What a sick bitch you are. And not only that, but you're also, was one of the worst to speak about the Wells. Matter of fact, I've got a video where, with some of the things you said, some very disgusting things, right? Things that other people didn't even want to hear, that you and Daisy's and you guys were saying about Don doing to his daughter, which you had no proof of whatsoever, but you still didn't keep you from saying it, you nasty bitch. And it ain't about Dawn, it's about Summer, right? It's about Summer. You saying that things happened to her that we don't know did or not did, and we don't want to think it did. but you were nasty enough to say it did, right? And then you start talking to the Wells, and boom, everything's different for you as well. You just a nasty ass, two-faced, fucking twisted tongue bitch that needs to stay out of my chat. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Go somewhere else. You're not welcomed here at all. You want to talk about fucking evil, bitch? You are the definition of it. Right? You are the definition of evil. You better get the fuck up out of here. Don't you even come in this chat and talk about Summer, period. You turncoat bitch. That fucking bitch don't know me. But I know her. She better shut the fuck up. She comes back in this fucking chat. I want my mods. Please block that bitch. I would have blocked her if it ain't for the fact that I block people I shouldn't. But she comes back in here. Molly, Beautiful Sunflower, Arctic, one of y'all. Bucket. Our bucket list has holes. Whoever's got wrenches, please block that bitch. Get her the hell up out of here.
What she thought, you know what I mean? It's like maybe when she discovered Summer missing and her mom went well and heard her scream, but she didn't know what time. But she's like, well, obviously for Roland, then maybe that means it happened in the timeline. So it wasn't actually her trying to do anything, it's just her speaking from, well, maybe I missed it because I was in the basement, and who knows what time she thought. I don't. But then you also have her on Prayer Gardens at one point trying to pull back the timeline, saying she seen me at like 4:30 or 5 or some shit when she's messing about with Benny Keys and Salted Earth on that panel. She's like, well, I don't know, Benny. It was like 4:30 or 5. There'd been no way in hell I'd been down there because she said I was waiting on Andy. There was no way in hell I was down there waiting on Andy. Because, no, right? I ain't gonna be down there long before him. What the fuck? Not even if. So, and if she's willing to pull back her timeline like that and say, okay, well, 4:30, 5 o'clock to try to match the time on the screen, right? And trying to place me in places I fucking was not, that says something. Or was it a slip up and that was her admitting, like, it wasn't her pulling back, but her not thinking and going, oh, well, that's when Summer actually vanished, right? And if that's the freaking case, then why weren't the boys sit down at 4:30, 5 o'clock to be searching the property? All right, and then to come back, why would they only sit down after 6 or 9? If all those things are the case, then why in the hell was the first call of law enforcement only at 6:20? Why was she, but here's the thing, you also have red flashes, you have door slams, you have a vehicle going up also at 5:30. Why would the police not have been contacted? And all I can do is hope and wait, and I hope there's not a Harry in there somewhere, and that more calls exist for somewhere to law enforcement that day, and that they are placed before 5:30. Because if not, and still yet, even if they are, then why in the hell was everything not being searched way before
Amen.
5:30? I don't, so many pieces.
There you go. There you go. Like she said, she finally it hit her, you know, to possibly speak some truth. You know, finally hit her, right? It took her a long time to put things together, but there you go. There you go. To be perfectly honest with you, this is the most sense I've heard JodiSue make since I've been listening to JodiSue, to be honest. But she absolutely is making sense. She really is. And it's fitting all the narrative. It's fitting everything. It's fitting what, Dudley said about Donald. It's fitting what Donald said about Donald in the picture, right? Dudley said he was walking around a week or more before Summer came up missing, looking like he lost his best friend. Donald said he was crying in that picture a week or so before Summer came up missing, right? Because the angel that talked to him 5-6 months before that came back to talk to him again. But he said that, what was intended, which means pre-planned, had been carried out that day. I think Don Wells, yes, he was driving the Subaru to work because he needed the alibi of the OnStar. He needed his phone to ping at work. He needed all of these things, right? Well, at home, things were being carried out by someone else. And who? Candus, the one that didn't pass the lie detector's test the first time, had to go back and still show deception. I guess you would when you carry out, when you carry out an act like that. I'm sure you would. And it is all making sense. It's absolutely all falling in. The pieces are all falling together now. They're falling together. And I think law enforcement is also seeing that as well. And I think that's why it's in the grapevine that there's probably going to be some arrests made soon in the Summer Wells case. But they really wanted to get, the Child Protective Services things cleared up and taken care of first, right? They wanted to get all of that out of the way first. And I think that, supposedly they just had a court date. Now, I don't know how true that is because I thought it was in May. Not March, but May. But I'm sure that whenever it is, they're going to lose all custody of the boys due to the fact that they've had damn near 2 years to get their shit together and they haven't got it together yet. And therefore, I doubt if the boys are going to be returned. And at this point, I think, I truly believe that there will be an arrest, not a arrest, but arrest is made in this case. I think more than one's going to be made, probably about 3. I'd say 3, at least 2, Candus and Candus. And then they're going to spill the beans on the rest. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't give a damn if Don had OnStar. I don't give a freak if he had 5 cell phones pinging out of his pockets. And I don't care if he had, 20 people sitting around him. The point being is, when they make arrests upon Candus and Candus and they tell the story the way it is and his involvement in it, his ass is going to prison as well. I don't, that's like, that's like hiring up a freaking hit person, right? And saying you were somewhere else while the shit was going down while you hired it up. So therefore your ass is going to prison too, right? There you go. It is just the way it is. It is the way it is. And JodiSue was, trying to put some comparisons together with the Titanic in that particular segment as well. That particular thing she was saying, and I thought, wow, that's really weird, because I had previously, I've had this funny meme. As a matter of fact, I made this funny meme probably a week or so ago, and I just haven't brought it out because I've had a lot going on. But when she started to compare to the Titanic, I was like, wow, that's really weird. There you go. Donald whispering in Grandis's ear, shut your mouth. Quit talking, old lady. Right? It's you and your daughter going down. I've got 7 alibis. And if you bitches want to go down, right? You dumb bitch. You better shut up. Yeah, he's whispering sweet things in her ear, right? Sweet things on the Titanic. There you go. I just thought it was amazing that, JodiSue mentions the Titanic, and here I had this picture tucked away. And I'm like, whoa, okay. That's kind of strange, but, it's definitely coincidence. I hope, right? I hope. But, yeah, that was weird. That was definitely weird. And, JodiSue said, Grandis up there not talking at all, right? He's up there on the hill that day, June 15th, 2021, not talking at all. Makes this picture come to life, right? When your little one turns out just like you, right? There you go. That's when your little one turns out just like you. Okay. You got that right. Oh, God. They are definitely something different, right? I believe they did too. I truly, honestly believe they do. Donald sealed the deal, right? He sealed the deal when he talked about the picture and said tended. Kind of sealed the deal on what really happened up there June 15th, 2021, and it was premeditated, right? It was pre-planned and executed on June 15th, 2021. And I think people are starting to understand and see that clearly now. So, I think the Wells talked a little too much, to be perfectly honest with you. I think they absolutely talked a little too much this time. Should have stayed off of social media. Definitely should have stayed off social media. So, yeah, that's so true, Molly. So true. But, I also wanted to let everyone hear for themselves. Everybody keeps saying, well, Leslie Earhart, whatever the woman's name is, I'm not for sure because I ain't familiar with her. I'm familiar with, Ronnie Lawson and, TBI, and I'm familiar with, the old prune that works with Ronnie, supposedly handling this case. Old prune, but I'm not familiar too much with the woman and all of this. But she, and people were saying, well, she says that, abduction is still it's not been took off the table. Well, no, I'm going to let you hear where she says no abduction as well. Here you go.
That location. What made it hard back in the summer is obviously the foliage. That's why you saw the 2 searches that were when the leaves were on the ground, so that we could use air assets and that you could actually see more of what's on the ground at the time. People say, well, leaves to cover things up. Well, if you get moving things around enough, you'll see what you're looking for.
There you go. There you go. This is TBI. This is TBI telling you that they did the extra searches at the time they did, so they could really check the ground. And if they, and if Summer was there, they would have found her. If she was out there, they would have found her. You move things around, you'll find what you're looking for. They didn't find anything. So meaning she wasn't out there, right? So that's off the table. Wandering off the table. He just said it. Let me play it again.
That location. What made it hard back in the summer is obviously the foliage. That's why you saw the 2 searches that were when the leaves were on the ground, so that we could use air assets and that you could actually see more of what's on the ground at the time. People say, well, leaves to cover things up. Well, if you get moving things around enough, you'll see what you're looking for.
Boom. There you go. There you go. Now we're going to hear him say it's still on the table. Or even abduction. Now, we know that wandering off, they did the searches, nothing. Like he said, you find what you're looking for. If Summer was there, they found it. They would have found it. She'd wandered off, they'd have found it with them searches. Now, we're going to hear him say, and this is the woman that everybody said that abduction ain't off the, well, we're going to hear her say, yes, it is. Yes, it is. No signs of abduction. Does that still stand? Yes, it does, out of her own mouth.
In the past, you said that there's no evidence that there was an abduction. Does that still stand?
In the past, you said there's no evidence of an abduction. Does that still stand? Now, this is her answering.
It still stands.
Still stands.
Do the fact
There you go. It still stands. Let's go back.
Enough, you'll see what you're looking for.
in the past, you said that there's no evidence that there was an abduction. Does that still stand?
It still stands.
Still stands.
Boom. There you go. Boom. It still stands. There you go. Still stands, folks. So who are they looking at? Who are they looking at? 110 Ben Hill Road, where they kicked in the door, where they went many, many times to question Candus, where they've been calling everybody in to law enforcement, which is Candus, right? Where have they been looking the whole time? 110 Ben Hill Road. There you go. Main suspects. Main suspects is the Wells. The Wells know that. They know that. That's why they were so busy trying to get the focus on anything and everything else to keep it off themselves. Well, it's finally on them. It's finally on them. And they're working like hell right now with people that, with two-faced people that really, didn't have Summer's back. Really was not for the little victim. That they knew was for the money. And they was trying to use those people. They was trying to use those people to try to, get the focus off of them again. Well, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen, Don and Candus. It ain't going to happen. Because there's too many of us out here that are for Summer. There's too many of us out here that really care about Summer Moon Utah Wells. And there's too many of us out here ready to face the truth. We're all ready to face the truth. We're all ready to put the focus where the focus needs to be. And that is right there on you and your old lady. Right? And that's where we got it. That's where we're keeping it, because that's where law enforcement has it. People are finally smart enough to listen and follow law enforcement, which they should have been doing from the beginning. And if they had, then you fuckers wouldn't have had all kinds of support buying for phones and Ray-Ban glasses and fixing the house up for your damn selves instead of anyone else. Taking a lot of people to the fucking cleaners. Taking a lot of people, good people in this world, to the cleaners. For your own self fucking gain when you didn't deserve a dime of it. You didn't deserve a fucking 2 cents. You didn't get lawyers to find your child. You didn't to see what law enforcement did have that would help extend the search and find her. And I'm going to tell you another little piece of something I learned about this whole situation. The reason why outsiders weren't allowed to come in and help law enforcement search for Summer is because the Wells wouldn't let them. Listen to what Ronnie Lawson had to say, and I'm going to repeat what he had to say. Quote, and if someone needs me to pull it up, I'll be glad to do that tomorrow night. But I'm going to quote Ronnie Lawson's words. The reason we did not have other people up there searching, just all kinds of volunteers, is one, because when they go out, we need to bring them back safe. I understand that. He said, but also I couldn't bring them in because I ain't allowed to say, I do not have authority to bring in a bunch of outsiders without the owners of the properties agreeing to have the outsiders in there. I can't make the owners of the property agree with having outsiders there to search. And Don and Candus Wells made it clear that they don't care for law enforcement and bonded people to be up there searching, but they did not want no outsiders searching. That wasn't Ronnie that didn't let the public in. That was the fucking Wells. Right, Donald? That was you and your bitch ass wife. That's who didn't want the public helping to search. Because you was afraid that old Johnny Public might be more evil than you. And you got a criminal mind up there, like your criminal mind. They might have figured out exactly what the fuck happened. Or they might have seen something that law enforcement didn't and draw it to law enforcement's attention, right? That's why you didn't want outsiders up there. There you go. Exel, I appreciate that. Super sticker, yes. Amen. I appreciate your support for this channel. God bless. But yes. Yes. But that, that's what it was. That's what it was. And he did say that. No, Don and Sissy Wells. It was not Ali let the public know they couldn't search because that's what the Wells had already said to them. Ronnie said, he plainly stated that he is not allowed to bring outsiders on someone's property without them agreeing to it. What he's saying is the Wells weren't agreeing to it. I would have done it, but they weren't agreeing to it. Now that's what he was saying. You got to listen to law enforcement because law enforcement talks in a different way than the norm out here. And you got to be able, you got to be able to listen and detect what they're telling you. Right? You got to listen and detect what they're saying to you. That's what I'm talking about. And no. It was the Wells, just like now. The Wells say nobody's going to be up here searching. You go search all of Tennessee, but you keep your ass off this property. There you go. Candus even said what? Oh, it comes from a higher up. Even lawyers, when they said they didn't lawyer up, then she says they are lawyered up. And it came from her lawyer that no one's to be up there searching, right? That's what she said. That's exactly what she said. That's exactly. So, it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Without permission from the property owners, you cannot search at anyone's property. That's right. If Don and Candace would have gave their okay for whoever and how many ever could get out there and do this, they would have been tons of people. And I don't think Ronnie had any problem with it, right? Especially if it was folks that he had confidence in, that run those woods all the time anyway, and able to take care of themselves. Sure, he would have absolutely had them out there, no problems at all. So yeah, that's a little thing. That's a little thing we didn't know, right? That's another little thing that was tucked away in a corner that we didn't know about. So there you go. Yes, it's not just me truly trying to figure out what happened to this baby. It's all of us. That's the one thing I love about this channel here, is that we all work together, and every one of us equally love this little girl. Every one of us equally, we are all equally in this together, as wanting to really find Summer, bring her home, and get justice for her. Each and every one of us are doing research. Each and every one of us are listening to everything. Each and every one of us, have no problem picking up the phone and contacting TBI, or contacting law enforcement, or contacting whoever we got to contact. Some of us are going even higher than that, right? To try to get this baby found, to try to get this case settled. We are all working together diligently for Summer, because why? We all love her. We all care about her. And we're all doing this, out of pure kindness, caring, and love. It's not about nothing else. It's not about anything else for us. It's the fact that we do care. Like I said from the beginning, God put this channel together for Summer. And a family that prays together stays together. I'm not the best human in the whole world. Absolutely not. I fall short of the glory of God every day. You guys hear me on here every night doing it. I know. Right? But this case would make a preacher cuss. These people are liars. They play games. They have done, you're missing with pure evilness. And God don't like evilness, and neither do we. Who wouldn't cuss in a case like this? For God's sake, this is a 5-year-old little girl needing to be found. This is a case that often keeps us awake at night, right? It keeps us awake because we want this little girl found. We're trying to figure out everything we can to bring her home, to get justice for her. That's all we want. That's all we want. And we're all working together to get it done. I'm nothing but one of you. I'm just like the rest of y'all. The only difference is, I'm up here on a panel. I'm not in the chat. But we're all in this together. And I thank God we are. Every last one of us are holding hands for this baby. And we're praying and asking God to please give us the answers. And I believe He is. Let's listen. Let's listen to Him. God's working with us now. He's trying to bring this to the light. Let's help Him pull it there. It's time for Summer to be found. It's time for her to be brought home. And it's time to get justice for, against the evil people that done this to her. God be with us. I'm going to tell you, to search, be headquarters, hand out flyers, but to find her body or bone. I'm going to be honest with you. There ain't a damn thing going to keep me from searching for my child. Not a damn thing's going to hold me back. They would have had to pry me out of them fucking woods. I'm going to tell you right now, no. I'm going to tell you, I'll handle, if I find my child, whatever state it's in, I will handle that when I get there. But by God, I want my child found. I have a need to know. And I think any parent does. You know what's worse than knowing is not knowing. That's what I'm talking about. The cadaver dogs went down the driveway to the road, and they went down a dog trail to the road. The cadaver dogs actually went 2 different ways to the road. They even went down the driveway to the road. But also, we got to take in consideration that the night before, the kids were down on the road running all over hell and back. Running all over the place. And they were down on the road playing with the dogs, and possibly the dogs took off and they followed the dogs up or down that trail. They were going, they were running circles everywhere the night before. Well, Dawn and Candus, JodiSue and Andy and them were standing down there at the end of the driveway in the road talking about how they was going to go when it got dark and search for old Mr. Dobbs. Right? At the places they suggested he be for them to be able to go find him. Which, thank God for him, he went somewhere else. So what lesson did that teach us? When somebody suggests somewhere, make sure you don't fucking go there. Go anywhere but there, right? Go anywhere but there. That made me lose all trust in helpful people. All right? Maybe the person is just trying to help you. But after this, I think I'll go find my own place, right? I'll go find my own place. I don't care what they suggest. JodiSue let us know that they might come look for your ass after making the suggestion. And you might not want to be there. Right? So, I can say, Mr. Dobbs, I think you seriously dodged a bullet. Right? That's what I'm talking about. I think old boy dodged that bullet. But yeah, I thought that, I wanted to bring this out here to you guys. I think it fitted. I think it fitted nicely into what we have, what we have been discussing. And it fit very nicely in with, like I said, it's starting to all make sense. I know when Dudley came out and was talking and everybody was like, no, 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 Well, Donald's own mouth backed up exactly. Donald's own mouth made what Dudley was saying truth, which I believed it when Dudley was saying it, because he had no reason to lie. This man had no reason to lie. When people ain't got a reason to lie, they probably ain't, right? He had nothing. He had nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Period. But people thought, oh, he just didn't like Donald because Donald fired him. No, this man was telling you the truth. He was telling you the truth about evil ass fucking Don Wells. Now, I don't know why people want to look at Don Wells as a rock star, because God knows he's not. He absolutely ain't. And it's disgusting to think he is. We've got a 5-year-old missing little girl. She's the rock star, baby. That's the rock star right there. And that's who needs our help. And that's why we're supposed to be here. Right? That's why we're supposed to be here. Don Wells ain't a rock star. He's an evil fucker that admitted he was crying in a picture a week to a week and a half before Summer came up missing, because there was a plan, something that had been intended to happen, and it was coming shortly. Well, it did. June the 15th, 2021, right? Because he said when he pulled up there, went right on past the cops down that hill, he needed to collect his thoughts. He needed to stop shaking, because he knew that oh shit, it's real now. It's what we fucking planned has been carried out. Son of a bitch. That's what he was thinking. And I'm going to tell you something. He ain't no rock star. He's a piece of freaking shit. Anyone that would turn on their freaking child like that and do, pre-plan some bullshit on their own baby laying in their fucking arms asleep, man, that's a fucking cobra right there, right? That's a fucking cobra. That was the one that's supposed to be protecting that child. Gave their life for it. Not fucking destroy it herself. I'm sorry, Don and Sissy. No, your Donnie is not innocent. No, not at all. If he was innocent, law enforcement wouldn't be staring right at their asses as the main suspects. If he was innocent, law enforcement would have come out and cleared him. Just like Monkey's mom and dad got cleared, right? We're damn near 2 years down the road, baby, and they still ain't been cleared. Meaning to me, they're fucking guilty. Law enforcement's kicking in doors, it's their doors. When law enforcement, from the beginning of all of this, when law enforcement was knocking on fucking doors to talk to people, it was their doors. When law enforcement was calling people in down there to interrogate, it was them, right? It was them. It wasn't nobody else. The Wells, ask the Wells how many times they went down to law enforcement, just walked in on their own, to see how their daughter's case is going. None. Now, would that be the case with you and your missing child? If you truly had a missing child, would that be your case? Because I know for a damn fact it wouldn't be mine. I'd be at that law enforcement. Every one of the motherfuckers would know my first name. They know me. They know my ass. I'd be the lady there every single day with coffee and donuts. I'd be the lady living and breathing them as they come in and out of that place. I'd be the one standing there that made them work harder to find my kid, because every time they come in or out, they see the tears of my fucking eyes, to the point they'd want to find my fucking child. I'd bust my damn ass. I'd become the janitor around there. I'd become the janitor. I'd be waiting on everybody. So don't tell me when law enforcement has to come looking for you, your ass is more than likely guilty. When you're running from law enforcement, you are running for a reason. If you have nothing to hide, you'd be running to them, not away from them. You think they don't know this? Of course they do. Candus. Of course they do. They know. I heard so much, I sit and shake my head like, what the hell? When I hear people sit there and say, they sit there and say things like, people grieve differently. Everybody don't grieve the same. We pretty much do. We pretty much do. Right? We pretty much do. The only difference is some people grieve in silence, meaning they're in shock, or they feel like they have to support everyone else before they can cry, but they fucking cry. And I'm not talking 5 years later. I'm talking a week or two. Even the strongest person has to pull over and fucking cry. We do all grieve alike. Maybe it's a different day, but it's the same shit. Humans are a lot more alike than we like to think we are. Some of us like to think we're stronger than others, and others think that they're weaker than others. No, we're all the same. We're all the same. The weak ones have just as much strength as the strong ones, and the strong ones find themselves getting just as weak as the weak ones sometimes. It just is what it is. And you got a missing 5-year-old child, I don't care who the fuck you are, you're going to be weak. I don't care who you are. You ain't going to be able to act like the fucking whales. No way in hell are you going to act like them if you truly got a missing 5-year-old child. No way in hell. But if you're a criminal-minded fuck that didn't care about your child anyway, and was self-centered and selfish as hell, yes. Yes. All your shit's going to be fake as fuck, and you're just going to be interested in moving on and living your life, because you personally just don't have, you don't have a fucking soul. You're an empty fucking shell. You're an empty shell that don't give a damn about nothing but you. As hard as that is for me to sit here and say about people, about humans, it's true. And you know, we don't understand this because we're not that kind of human. We want to think everyone's like us. They're not. Everyone's not like us. There is people that can kill your ass and go to sleep. They don't give a fuck about anything but them. That's what we got to realize. You know, and that's what law officers have to realize. People say, well, law enforcement's mean. No, law enforcement knows what's out there. They know how evil it is. And they cannot take the risk of not going home to their family. They got to do what they got to do. If people would mind, obey the law, then nobody would, you know, the law wouldn't have to be rough and tough. They wouldn't have to be like they are. And I'm going to tell you now, the Wells hate law enforcement. Why? Because they're criminals. If you're not a criminal, you love law enforcement because you know they're your protection, right? You know that is your protection. Of course you love them. You know they're on your side. You're a good person. But if you hate them, you're probably not living your life right. Because I know that God-abiding, upright humans in this world, law-abiding people, love law enforcement. Even if law enforcement pulls us over. We know what we did. We either was speeding, threw something out the window, didn't have the kid in the seatbelt, something. Right? We did something. But that's what they're there for, is to keep everyone safe, to keep your world clean. They're just trying to do their job. They're just trying to do their job. And that's what they're trying to do now in this case. They're trying to do their job. And I truly believe they're doing it. And I truly believe there will be arrest made in the near future. I think some things just have to be cleared up before they get to that point. Some things need to be cleared up. And I'm sure that it's, with the Wells boys, right? It's with the Wells boys. They're trying to get that settled and out of the way for the children's sake. That could be true, Beth. I would not doubt that a lick. Or concrete that was getting ready to be poured. Wherever that little girl is, in my opinion, the Wells know. That's my opinion. And this is America. I have a right, just like everyone in this chat, you all have a right to think however you want to think. You have that right. But I'm going to tell you now, there is more evidence in the JonBenet Ramsey case. There is more evidence in the JonBenet Ramsey case of an intruder coming in and DNA from outside people, there is more proof that they did nothing to their child than there is in the Wells case of not doing nothing to their child. The Wells case, there is all evidence points to the Wells. As we heard tonight from law enforcement themselves, we heard we did extra searches, and if she was there, we would have found her. That's pretty much what we heard. And you also heard they said abduction. There's no signs of any type of abduction. Is that still holding true? Yes. Yes, it is. No signs. There you go. Boom. So what is there a sign of? What is there a sign of? Foul play. And what's foul play? Boom. The parents. Foul play is the parents. The parents done something. Now, let's figure out what. Right? Well, we figured out from Don's own mouth. It was pre-planned. Right? He said it, not us. It was tended. A week and a half before Summer came up missing, it was tended. And he knew when he came up there, it had been, executed. It had been taken care of. Right? That's what he said, not us. He said it. What more do we need? What more are we looking for? I mean, that's right out of the horse's mouth. That's right out of the horse's mouth. A slip of his lip. So, there you go. It just is what it is. Wow. Yeah, I am sorry to hear that. But people would do things like that, Beth. They will do things like that. Yeah, law enforcement, I'm telling you, law enforcement's smart. They would do everything it takes. They will do everything it takes to get the answers they need to prosecute the shit out of a criminal. Trust and believe that. You might think you're safe, but you're not. They will get you in the end. They will get you. And right now, they're doing everything they can to get the Wells, and I truly believe that. That's what I believe. That's my opinion, and that's what I believe. That's what I'm seeing. And I truly believe they will at some point. Oh, there you are, my sweet Norway. Much love to my friend and mentor and chat. We cannot understand that evil that does exist. We love you, Summer. Amen. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We absolutely, positively love this little girl. And Norway, I love you. I love you, girl. You know I love you. Sweet Norway is a lady on this channel. She's been with us from the beginning. And she's just a beautiful, beautiful human being. Absolutely beautiful. And we pray for her all the time. She can always use our prayers. She's got a lot going on in her life, and we're always asking that people give, that you pray for her. She is such a beautiful person, a beautiful, beautiful human being. She reminds me of my mother, and she's been with us for like I said, forever, from day one. And I so thank God for putting her here. We love her. Everyone here at this channel loves her. She's still going through a lot, Beth. She's still going through a lot, and she can use our prayers. Absolutely, keep those prayers going up for her. God bless her. God bless her. Amen. I appreciate the prayers going up. More, I appreciate the prayers going up for Norway. I know God's going to do something beautiful in her life. I know that. I believe in miracles, and I'm sure she's going to see one. She's going to definitely see one soon. And I just thank God for answering prayers, right? I thank him for answering prayers. I hear a lot of people talking about Candus and Donald going to court yesterday over the boys. If they did, I don't think they did. I think it's in May. I mean, I knew they had a court date either March or May. I knew it started with an M, but I thought it was on the 14th. So I'm thinking it's May. But I'm sure the boys are not getting returned to Don and Candus Wells. I can assure you of that, because they can't even pass a piss test, right? They can't pass a piss test. And if you can't pass that piss test, you ain't getting your kids back. That's a damn given right there. That is a given. So I don't think, and the house, that house still needs a lot of work. It's not even ready to return kids to. They've had 2 years to get it done, and they have not been making the progress it needs to be put forth in order to get everything, to get the boys back, is what I'm saying. So the boys ain't being brainwashed. The boys are actually living a normal life, and they like it, right? They like living a normal life. They like being away, and they love not being attacked. They love being fed. They love, kids that don't get no food, when they start getting they go to a place where it's clean corner to corner, and they actually get to keep everything that's given to them. They get a baseball, it ain't sold on eBay. They get nice things. They get to keep them. They get 3 meals a day, snacks. They got people helping them, talking to them. These boys are living the life that they should have been living at home. But Don and Candus didn't care enough. Don and Candus weren't living for their children. They were living for themselves. right? They were living for themselves. And those children were being abused, you know. Those kids, you know, it probably feels good. It probably feels good to go to bed at night in a clean bed with clean jammies on and not have to scratch. You know, they don't have to scratch their head. They don't have to feel all that itch keeping them up all night. That pound of fucking dirt. They don't live like that no more. These kids are living a clean life, man. They're living somewhere where they actually use the washer and dryer, right? They use the washer and dryer every day. They keep these kids clean. They keep these kids' beds clean. They keep these kids fed. They let them keep their toys and all their clothes and all the good things they got. You know, these kids got real shoes that fit them, real clothes that fit them. The Wells need to leave those boys alone. The best thing they could do for their boys is let them have a decent life, right? That's what they really could do for their boys. I know Don's like, fuck you, bitch. You dumb fucking bitch. But you know what? Deep down, he knows I'm telling the truth. He knows I'm telling the truth. Let these boys get educated. Let them have a future. A drug-free, alcohol-free, you know, normal childhood and a normal future. Let them have that. They deserve it. Right? I am sure that the police are keeping a tab on every move the Wells make. Trust and believe that. Law enforcement knows where the Wells are. I mean, law enforcement has eyes everywhere. You'd be surprised at how many people work for law enforcement. You would be totally surprised at how many people work for law enforcement. Law enforcement is everywhere. Sorry, y'all, but I had to grab a pop. Yeah, Miss Norway is our angel. That is so true. That is so true. Absolutely. Yeah, I heard Candace's friend. I heard that Kathy chick um come up there and oh my god. Wow. It sounds like a freaking tangled love affair, right? Weird. That was weird. That was some weird shit right there. Oh yeah, I love my coffee. I'm not gonna lie, I love my coffee. Amen. That's right. Who cares what people think to say about me? God knows I sleep well, and tell it right. Um, that's your prerogative, honey. God gave you this life, and absolutely tell it like it is. I mean, you got the right to believe any way you want to believe. I don't try to tell anyone. I don't try to tell anyone how to believe. But don't lead me to believe that you believe a way and then find out that you don't. Like Miss Daisy, she led us all to believe that she's for these victims, right? Then only to find out that shit wasn't so. And that's what makes me upset. That's what makes me upset. I like people that are real. I like people that are real. If you tell me something, I hope you're telling me the truth. Because if you ain't, that trust is broken. That trust is broken, and don't worry about me trusting you again, because I can't. Right? I mean, it takes 5 seconds it takes a lifetime to build trust. 5 seconds to burn it all. Be real. Be who you say you are. You say you're for these missing children. By God, be for these missing children. Don't lie, man. Don't lie about something like this. This is nothing to be playing with. This is real. This is real. These children depend on us. They depend on us to be their voice. Right? They depend on us to be real. This ain't no game out here. This ain't no game. Yeah, I won't either. I don't watch her. I don't watch her and don't want to watch her. Hell no. Hell no. She ain't got nothing to damn say that I want to hear ever again. Ever. I mean, me and Miss Daisy's had our issues, but we've had our issues. But this one right here, that's the straw that broke the camel's back, right? It's done. It's done. I'm going to tell you what. Nope. And then she wants to sit over there and, say nasty things. Oh, PG takes Summer's face and puts it on other, children's bodies. Models, Miss Daisy. I put them on models so that everyone can see the light that Summer deserved. What's the matter, Miss Daisy? You don't like seeing Summer in beautiful clothes? You don't like people seeing her the way it should have been instead of the way it was? Do you get some kind of thrill out of seeing Summer not be beautiful? Does that make you feel better about yourself? To see another child, not having nothing? Is that bother you? Because it seems like it does, right? It seems like it does. It seems like it bothers her to see Summer look like the princess that she really was. Seems to bother her to see how beautiful Summer could have been if she would have been with anyone else but them fucking Wells, right? There you go. That's the problem. I do too. I do too. I absolutely love to see Summer. She could have been a model. Summer could have been a model. She could have actually modeled clothing and possibly even had her own line of clothing, right? She was absolutely beautiful. She had a face that could capture the world, as she has. And she could have captured this world in that way just as easy as in this way. She was beautiful. And absolutely happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, to everyone out here. I did put together a St. Patrick's Day video for summer. I missed the 15th. I'm sorry that I missed the 15th. 21 months missing. Summer is 21 months missing. But I made her a St. Patrick's video. I'm going to play it out for you guys right now. So, you know, this is dedicated to summer.
Of all the money that e'er I spent it in good company. And of all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit to memory I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. If I had money enough to spend and leisure time to sit a while, there is a fair maid in this town who sorely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips alone she holds my heart enthralled. Then fill to me the parting glass. Good night and God be with you all. All the comrades that e'er I've had, they're sorry for my sweethearts that e'er I had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls into my lot that I should rise and you should not, oh, gently rise and softly come. Good night and God be with you all. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and God be with you all.
That was for summer, for St. Patrick's Day. I appreciate everyone telling me it's a beautiful video. Wow, I couldn't have did it without all of you. Your support, you do not know how much your support means to us and to these missing children. Your support means everything. You know, I tell people, I don't think I can say it often enough. If you go to chats where they are blocking you and timing you out because you want to talk about summer or you want to ask a question, a hard question, and they time you out, block you, or they want you to think the way they're thinking instead of the way you want to think. They're timing you out. They're blocking you. We are here to get answers for these missing children. Any chat that don't respect that, you should not be in. They need you. You don't need them. You do not need them. You are what make the channels. Without supporters, a channel is nothing. These people that call themselves creators, that sit upon a panel like this, they call themselves a creator. They're just like you. They're just like you. The only difference is they make you believe that you need them. No. They need you. They need you. That's the problem with this world today. That's the problem with this world today. We got the grocery stores thinking that they think that we need them. No, they need us. They need us. We can grow our food in the back fucking yard. We don't need them. They're convenient. And we use them. But we don't need them. Restaurants. We can cook at home. We don't need them. But they have you thinking you do. And then you go in there and they give you crappy service. They don't treat you with the utmost respect. They talk, these people think that we rely on them and they can treat us badly in this world. No, you can't. They need to understand that they need us. We don't need them. Take your power back. Take your power back and start reminding people and places that they're the ones needing you. It's your money that these stores need. It's your money these restaurants need to stay in business. Well, it's your presence that these YouTubers need to stay in business as well. Don't let them treat you like shit. You hold all the power, not them. Demand respect, because you hold the key to make them or break them. It's just how it is. Amen, Beth. Exactly. Exactly. You know, people once understood, people once understood that they needed to be kind to get kindness. They needed, be respectful to get respect. People today, you earn it. It's not get just, but people today think that, that no matter how they act, you're still supposed to respect, and you're still supposed to, treat them with the utmost kindness and everything. Even though they would say no to you, they think you're supposed to say yes to them. Well, I got news for you. I don't think so. It's a two-way street out there, buddy. A two-way street. I'm going to tell you what, you're only going to get back from me. I'm speaking for myself. You're only going to get back from me what you put out. You put out some fucking bullshit, then you look for some bullshit to come back at you. Now, if you want to put out some love and kindness and caring, then look for that to come back at you. But by God, that's the way life is, right? Learn to put out what you want to receive. And don't put out anything less. People used to know how to do that. They really did. They used to know how to do that. They used to know how to treat one another kindly. And I think they genuinely did care. I think folks at one time genuinely cared about one another. I really do believe that. What happened, I don't know. But I'm not going to tolerate this shit, because I don't have to. God gave me a life to live, and I want to live it. And I want to live it around good people. People that allow me to be, the free flying American person that I am. I'm not trying to live no one else's life, and I don't want no one trying to live mine. That's the one thing I love about this channel as well. It's freedom of speech, unless you're saying something totally stupid or turning against the victims for some fucking suspects. You're welcome here. If you are 100% for Summer Moon Utah Wells and other missing children, and you're here for all the right reasons, man, you are so welcomed. You're welcomed upon panel. You are welcomed in this chat. But if you're here for any other reason, to cause problems or whatever, yeah, you're going to get the boot. Because we don't put up with that here. We don't put up with that over here. Like I said, this channel belongs to Summer. God put it together for her and other missing children. I am just like any of you. I'm just like all of you. I'm here to be her voice, Because why? We love her. We want her found. We want her brought home. We want justice against the evil bastards that done such a heinous thing to this beautiful baby. That's why we're all here. I'm one of you. The problem with a lot of these other creators, they think they're above you. Right? They think they're above you. Well, they're not. I'm here to tell you they're not. They're absolutely not. They are not above us. They are just like us. The only difference is they got a damn platform up here to be able to speak to everyone on. Well, you have that here. You have that here too. All you got to do is take the link. All you have to do is take the link and the floor is yours. You're able to come up here. You're able to talk just like I'm talking. You're able to express your opinion, what you think, how you feel. That's something a lot of them don't give you, because if you come up there and say something they don't like, or something that they think somebody else ain't going to like, then you're kicked off. Right? If you come up on Daisy's panel here recently, if you would have came up on her panel and asked Candus actually, if you just asked a hard question in the chat, it's get you the hell out of there, right? We ain't putting up with this today. Right? We ain't putting up with this today. Hey, Candus, talk about the timeline. I'll block that person. Time that person out. Candus don't have to talk about that timeline. That timeline don't mean nothing. No. Daisy, that timeline means everything. That timeline means everything. That timeline is what law enforcement's been trying to figure out from day one. It don't mean nothing to you, because you really didn't support Summer. But it means every fucking thing to us. It means everything to us, because that timeline is when this baby came up missing. That timeline is when that baby got took wherever it is that she may be now. And you have the audacity to fucking sit there and say it didn't matter? Man, I'm going to tell you, some words are unforgiving. Don't think I will ever forget that shit, because I won't. I won't. I haven't ever heard of Candus doing something like that as well. I have not ever heard of Candus doing that to the boys. I don't know where that came from, but I just don't find that to be truth. I don't find that to be truth. But I do think Candus would lie. I think Candus would. I think Candus is just as evil as Don and Candus Wells, to be honest with you. And I think she looked mighty fucking guilty too, running like hell at a time when she was needed there the most, right? I think that's what I think. There's a whole lot in this case. A whole lot. And more is being pulled to the light, right? More and more is being pulled to the light. And God's got people talking now and making sense that really didn't ever make sense before. So you know what? You guys are seeing God at work. You're seeing God at work, because them prayers that you're sending up are being answered. the prayers you're sending up, you know, I don't know how many sending up prayers, but they must be a lot sending them up with faith. They must be a lot sending them up with faith, knowing that they're going to be answered, because God is definitely answering. So I'm going to ask everyone to keep sending those prayers up. Keep sending them up with that faith, because God is definitely pulling this to the light. He's pulling it to the light. And I know we're going to get answers soon. So please keep those prayers going up for Summer. Keep them going up. Keep them going up for one another. Especially beautiful Sunflower, Sweet Norway. And I know there's a lot of other people dealing with a lot of things. Just tell God, I don't know what they need, Lord, but you do. You do. And in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, please, please answer our prayers. Amen. It's that simple. It's free. But it's worth more than money could ever buy. So please keep those prayers going up. I'm going to play Summer's song out of here. I'm going to say good night. God bless. Much love. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Good night.